Welcome to Through a Glass Darkly Radio. You're listening to us on United Public Radio. The intro music was Mark of the Doomslayer by Karl Casey at White Bat Audio. How's everybody doing tonight? AI is not cutting it this week. It's just not. I had it come up with the episode for 4 separate times, and somebody put a governor on it because I would say I need a 2-hour episode. And I kind of know how many pages in Microsoft Word is a 2-hour episode. It's like 18 to 20 pages. It consistently would come up with 14 pages. And I had said, no, I need 2 hours. Oh, okay, boss. Okay. 14 pages. No. I need 2 hours. Okay, boss. 14 pages. It's all here. 2 hours. No. I'm going to Grok. And then I go to Grok, and Grok gives me like 5 minutes. I'm like, no. I need 2 hours, 5 minutes. I'm like, all right, I'm going back to ChatGPT. So it's not going to quite take us to the full, to the full hour, but I got something else I can talk about later on. I've been doing some experiments. So I'll talk about some of that in the second half. But before we get started, it looks like I got like 15 comments or so that I still have to go through. So I'm just going to quickly go through those. Let's see. I'm just trying to find where it starts. Okay. I'm not going to read most of these, but because a lot of them are just chatter back and forth. All right, I actually already hit those up. Here we go. Okay, people love the music. No, obviously not Sunday. Close enough. By the way, the new time slot has been verified is much better. So just bear with me. I'm almost through. I'll just give folks Woo Riders DG. Yes, I like heavy metal. I particularly like, it's not really technically heavy metal, but I am a big Tool fan. Hey, how you doing? Benton, make sure you make sure you're here after I finish the story, because that little something you recommended me to do, I actually started a diary to kind of capture everything. So it's been interesting. Let's just say that. Nothing supernatural per se, but definitely strange. So I'm going to give, that's what I've been calling the experiments at the very beginning. So we'll get into that. I'm not going to, Benton knows exactly what I'm talking about, but nobody else will. So yeah, no, yes, it's exactly what you think it is. Let's see. Just going quickly through, because a lot of people are here for the watchers, so I want to be quick. I want to get to the point quickly. And then once I finish that, yeah, I mean, yeah, well, I'll get into all that when we toward the end. Hey, Solite USX Pack, good to see you. Okay. All right, let me get started. For people who've never been to this channel before and just clicked on, they're gonna be like, I came here for the watchers. What are you talking about? What is this? What is this insanity? So we're gonna get started. All right. The Watchers, Enochian entities, fallen angels, and the return of the old gods. In ancient lore and modern lore alike, one finds recurring tales of powerful non-human beings influencing humanity's destiny. From the Watchers of the Book of Enoch to contemporary alien visitors, the parallels are striking. This research compiles scholarly insights and case studies to explore how the Watchers, fallen angels described in apocryphal scripture, can be framed as ancient extraterrestrial entities, and how their story resonates with modern UFO and abduction phenomena. We will journey through ancient texts, Renaissance magic, and 20th century abduction accounts, drawing connections between celestial rebellion, forbidden knowledge, hybrid offspring, and visions of an apocalyptic return. Throughout, we maintain a critical, evidence-based approach, citing religious studies, occult scholarship, and ufology research to support each theme. All right, so we're going to start by examining the source material and the Watchers themselves, the fallen angels of Enochian tradition, and the idea that they might be ancient aliens. So, ancient accounts of the Watchers and fallen angels. So, their origins start in the book of Enoch. The primary account of the Watchers comes from 1 Enoch, circa 2nd to 1st century BC, a Jewish apocryphal text revered in certain ancient communities. In Enoch's tale, 200 heavenly beings called Watchers, or Grigori, were sent to observe humanity, but they rebelled against divine law. Led by Shemihaza, or Samayaza, and others, they left the high heaven and holy eternal place, and took immortal women as wives. The celestial rebellion is vividly described. Quote, "And it came to pass, the angels, the children of heaven, saw and hated and lusted after the daughters of men. Come, let us choose us wives from among the children of men and beget us children." End quote. Bound by an oath atop Mount Hermon, these 200 Watchers descended to cohabit with human women, initiating an era of unprecedented corruption. Forbidden knowledge and the Nephilim. Beyond mere transgression of heavenly, earthly boundaries, the Watchers also imparted forbidden knowledge to humanity. 1 Enoch details how the Watcher Azazel, quote, taught men to make swords and knives and shields and breastplates, end quote, essentially instructing humans in metallurgy and weaponry, as well as the use of cosmetics. Quote, the beautifying of the eyelids and jewelry. Other Watchers revealed arts of magic and science. Semjaza taught enchantments and root cuttings. Armaros, the resolving of enchantments. Barkijal taught astrology. Kakabil, the constellations. Ezekiel, the knowledge of the clouds. And Sariel, the course of the moon, end quote. By foisting upon mankind advanced knowledge all at once, the Watchers disrupted the natural progression of human learning. In Enoch's account, this led to much godlessness and moral decay on earth, a mythic origin for the evils of civilization. Crucially, the unions of angels and humans produced offspring, the Nephilim, often described as giant hybrid beings. They became pregnant and they bore great giants. And when men could no longer sustain them, the giants turned against humans and devoured mankind. These Nephilim, called mighty men of old in Genesis 6:4, were half divine, half human, and wreaked havoc on earth. In biblical narratives, their presence and the spreading of violence were a major reason for the flood. Thus, we see a manipulation of human genetics motif in antiquity. Heavenly beings altering the human bloodline by creating hybrid descendants, a theme that will reappear in modern abduction lore. Divine punishment and apocalyptic fate. The Watchers' defiance and the bloodshed by their progeny prompted severe judgment. The Book of Enoch describes how the archangels Michael, Uriel, Raphael, and Gabriel were tasked by God to intervene. The Nephilim giants were destroyed in the flood, and the Watchers themselves were imprisoned. Enoch is told to declare to the Watchers, quote, Ye have wrought great destruction on the earth, and ye have no peace nor forgiveness of sin. End quote. According to Enoch, the watchers were bound in the depths of the earth, condemned to witness the death of their children and to await final judgment. Quote, From henceforth you shall not ascend into heaven unto all eternity. And in bonds of the earth the decree has gone forth to bind you for all the days of the world. End quote. Notably, their imprisonment is not forever, but until the day of great judgment, implying that in an apocalyptic time, these entities might be released. In the New Testament, Jude 1:6 echoes this, saying the angels who left their proper dwelling are kept in everlasting chains under darkness unto the judgment of the great day. This raises an intriguing notion. The watchers are dormant but not gone, potentially to reemerge in the end times. The very title, Return of the Old Gods, plays on this idea that what was banished in myth could come back. Later in this research, we will see how some modern interpretations view UFO occupants as these ancient beings, raising their ancient voice again in our era. Now there's the notion of watchers as ancient extraterrestrials. While traditional theology sees the watchers as spiritual beings or fallen angels, some modern theorists have reinterpreted them through an ancient astronaut lens. The question is posed, were beings like the watchers actually divine creatures, or were they extraterrestrials that humans mistook for gods? Proponents of this view suggest that the sons of God in Genesis and the watchers in Enoch might have been advanced alien visitors interacting with humanity in prehistory. By this account, the miracles and feats described, such as descending from the sky, imparting advanced knowledge, interbreeding with humans, could be interpreted as encounters with flesh and blood extraterrestrials using superior technology. Indeed, legends from many cultures echo similar themes of sky gods or star beings engaging with humans and even producing hybrid heroes. Researchers have noted that flood myths and divine offspring stories are global, found in Greek, Mesopotamian, Native American, and other mythologies, fueling speculation that they might stem from a real, perhaps extraterrestrial intervention in human antiquity. While mainstream scholars view these as archetypal myths, the ancient aliens interpretation has entered the popular imagination. So, for instance, you've all heard of the History Channel's Ancient Aliens series, which frequently cites the Watchers and Nephilim as evidence of ET contact. In a scholarly tone, we must note this interpretation remains speculative. However, it provides a creative framework for our podcast to explore connections between the Watchers and modern alien phenomena. So, having established who the Watchers were and how their story can be seen as an early alien contact narrative, celestial beings imparting knowledge and altering human lineage, we move forward in time. Next, we look at a historical attempt to contact angelic or otherworldly entities. Dr. John Dee's Enochian magic in the 16th century. Could Renaissance occultists have been reaching out to the same intelligences described in the Book of Enoch? Well, we're going to find out. Moving on. John Dee, Enochian magic, and contacting angelic beings. In the late 16th century, during the English Renaissance, Dr. John Dee and his scryer, Edward Kelly, embarked on an extraordinary quest to communicate with angels. John Dee, who lived from 1527 to 1608, was a renowned mathematician, astrologer, and advisor to Queen Elizabeth I, but also an occult philosopher. Frustrated with the limits of human knowledge, Dee sought divine insight. Quote, I have from my youth up desired and prayed unto God for pure and sound wisdom. I could find no other way to attain such wisdom but by the extraordinary gift. End quote. And by extraordinary gift, he means direct revelation. In 1582, he met Edward Kelly, a talented medium, and together they conducted scrying sessions, which are effectively gazing into crystal balls and obsidian mirrors in hopes of receiving messages from heavenly messengers. The Enochian communications. Over a series of sessions between 1582 to 1587, Dee and Kelly documented extensive conversations with spiritual beings they called angels. These sessions yielded a complex system of magic in a unique angelic language. According to Dee's journals, later published as A True and Faithful Relation, the entities delivered a revealed language with its own alphabet and grammar, now known as Enochian, after the biblical Enoch who walked with God. Dee wrote that the angels literally dictated tables of letters and mystical texts to Kelly while he scried, including a text called Liber Loagaeth, Book of God's Speech. The content was esoteric: divine names, cosmological visions, apocalyptic prophecies, and instructions for magical rites. Central to Enochian magic is the idea of using this revealed language in sacred geometry, which included using tablets, sigils, etc., to invoke or summon spiritual entities for knowledge and power. In Dee's view, this was a holy endeavor to gain wisdom for the betterment of mankind. It's important to note that while Dee and Kelly believed they were speaking with angels, including names like Uriel and Michael at times, some messages were confusing or disturbing. The communications were not limited to pious theology. They included cosmology, cryptic puzzles, and even commandments that tested men's faith. At one point, the angels, quotes, controversially instructed Dee and Kelly to share their wives. Such aspects have led some scholars to question the true nature of these beings, suggesting they might not have been angels at all, but imposters or other sorts of entities. In fact, Dee himself grew concerned about possible deception as the dialogues progressed. The Enochian system, with its elaborate symbolism and ritual, thus straddles the line between angelic invocation and something far more arcane. Were Dee's angels watchers, extraterrestrials? This question fascinates modern occultists and theorists. The parallels between Enoch's watchers and Dee's angelic contacts are provocative. Both involve communication between humans and ostensibly heavenly beings who impart knowledge beyond conventional human reach. In Dee's case, the angels provided him with a new language and occult information. In Enoch's case, the Watchers taught humanity arts and sciences. Some have theorized that what Dee contacted might have been the same category of beings, essentially Watchers by another name. Occult scholar James Bono notes that Dee's angels sometimes behaved ambivalently, even deceptively, raising the possibility that they correspond to the rogue Watchers rather than holy angels. This view is a view supported by Merrick Casaubon in 1659, who prefaced Dee's diary with a warning that these spirits were infernal. In a contemporary analysis, an anonymous Pentagon whistleblower even claimed that the U.S. government has explored Enochian magic as a means of contacting non-human intelligences, hinting that the Pentagon may be using ancient Enochian magic to talk to UFOs. While this claim is unverified, it underscores a growing idea that the rituals of Dee could have opened a channel to ultra-terrestrial entities, what we today might label extraterrestrial or interdimensional beings. Angelic language and UFO contact. One of the most intriguing connections between Enochian lore and modern UFO phenomena is the emphasis on language and communication. Dee's angelical tongue is essentially a received alien language, in the sense of being otherworldly. In UFO and contactee reports, witnesses sometimes describe telepathic communication or seeing strange symbols. Whitley Strieber, for instance, said the beings he encountered speak in math, a highly advanced non-human mode of communication. This echoes the idea of a pure non-terrestrial language akin to what Dee fervently recorded. Moreover, the process of receiving information in a trance or altered state, as Kelly did, parallels modern channeling of alien messages. There is a continuity of method, ritual or meditation, to contact aliens or angels, and the reception of symbolic or linguistic transmissions. Some researchers, like Jacques Vallée, have noted almost ritualistic patterns in UFO encounters, suggesting a crossover with occult practices. It's also worth noting historical cases where occult experiments foreshadowed UFO motifs. Aleister Crowley, a 20th century occultist heavily influenced by Dee's Enochian magic, performed the Amalantra working in 1918, a ritual intended to invoke entities from other planes. Crowley claimed success in contacting an entity named Lamb and even drew its portrait, a bulbous-headed, large-eyed figure strikingly similar to the gray alien archetype. And this was decades before the Greys became part of UFO lore. Later, Crowley's protege, Kenneth Grant, suggested Lamb might be an extraterrestrial intelligence, and that Crowley had opened a portal for such beings to enter our reality. Likewise, rocket scientist and occultist Jack Parsons, a co-founder of NASA's JPL laboratory, or Jet Propulsion Laboratory, conducted rituals in the 1940s inspired by Enochian thelemic magic, attempting to manifest otherworldly entities around the same time as the modern UFO era was dawning. These historical coincidences feed the theory that occult rituals and UFO phenomena are intertwined, with Enochian magic being an early attempt to interface with the same others that abductees report meeting. As one commentary puts it, Enochian magic opened contact with unknown entities. Some call them demons, others say extraterrestrials. Either way, it's communication with non-human intelligences through ritual. Thus far, we've explored how John Dee's work represents a bridge between ancient and modern, a Renaissance attempt at theophany that now reads uncannily like an early close encounter. Next, we step fully into the modern era, examining alien intelligent abduction case studies to draw parallels with the Watcher's narrative. Do the activities and messages of today's aliens mirror those of yesterday's fallen angels? Well, we're going to find out. Modern alien abduction phenomena and parallels to the Watchers. By the mid-20th century, reports of alien abductions began to emerge in force, adding a new chapter to humanity's encounter with others. In these accounts, ordinary people describe being taken, usually against their will, by non-human entities, subjected to procedures, given messages, and then returned. Surprisingly, or perhaps not surprisingly in our context, many elements in these abduction narratives echo the ancient Watcher paradigm: forbidden experiments, genetic hybridization, warnings of impending catastrophe, and an overarching sense of otherworldly beings intervening in human life. Now we're going to examine several landmark abduction cases and themes, drawing comparisons to the Watchers and their legacy. 1961, Betty and Barney Hill. The Hill abduction is the first widely publicized alien abduction case, often considered a template for those that followed. On a September night in 1961 in New Hampshire, Betty and Barney Hill saw a bright, hovering object that seemed to follow their car. Barney even observed occupants through binoculars, figures sitting inside the craft staring down at them. Panicked, he exclaimed, "They're going to capture us." The Hills then experienced a period of missing time. Under later hypnosis, they recovered detailed memories of being taken aboard a spacecraft by small gray beings with large heads and eyes. The couple was separated and subjected to what could only be described as medical examinations. Barney remembered objects, like an eye-like device, being used on him. Betty reported a painful procedure where a long needle was inserted into her navel. She was told telepathically it was a pregnancy test. Samples of skin, hair, and fluids were taken. The beings communicated mostly telepathically. Barney noted how eerily those eyes were in my brain. After the experiments, the Hills were escorted back to their car, dazed and with fragmentary memories. Betty later recalled the aliens showing her a star map of their origin, which she reconstructed under hypnosis, a map some interpreted as the Zeta Reticuli system. In terms of the parallels to Watchers, the Hill case introduces the motif of non-consensual human subjects, much as the Watchers took women without divine permission. The alleged reproductive focus, Betty's pregnancy test, mirrors the Watchers' obsession with interbreeding. And Barney's comparison of the lead alien's demeanor to a German Nazi, he even said one figure resembled Hitler, speaks to the perceived domineering or even malevolent aspects of these beings, akin to fallen angels harming humanity. Just as the Watchers were condemned for overstepping bounds with humans, UFO abductors are often seen as violating human sovereignty for their own agenda. Then there's the Whitley Strieber case from 1985 and onwards. If the Hills experience opened the door, author Whitley Strieber's accounts flung it wide open to public consciousness. Strieber's 1987 memoir, Communion, detailed a series of encounters at his cabin in upstate New York, including a harrowing night in December 1985 when he was apparently abducted from his bed by entities he calls the Visitors. Strieber's descriptions and the famous cover art of Communion fix the image of the gray alien in popular culture. The slender body, oversized bald head, huge black eyes. Yet Strieber deliberately used the neutral term visitors and speculated they may not be aliens in the nuts and bolts sense. He entertained theories that they could be interdimensional beings or even something akin to spirits. Over decades of continued experiences, Strieber's interpretation evolved into a deeply mystical one. He noted that the visitors have been interacting with us since the dawn of man, often under the guises like fairies, elves, or even religious apparitions. In other words, our ancestors may have known the same entities by different names, a statement that directly bridges to the Watchers, whom ancient people may have regarded as gods or angels. Strieber observed commonalities between modern abductions and folklore. For example, the abduction of humans by fairies in medieval lore or succubi-incubi tales, which also involve nighttime visitation and sexual themes. He has posited that the phenomenon adapts to our expectations, appearing in forms we can comprehend. This resonates with the idea that the Watchers and today's aliens could be one and the same, filtered through cultural lenses. In a poignant recent statement, Strieber writes, "Perhaps the world is far larger and more complex than we ever imagined, something that has always been part of us and which is now raising its ancient voice again, calling to all of us to look up to the stars and inward to the infinity of our minds." This quote encapsulates the episode's theme, the ancient voice of the Watchers, or whatever label we choose, may be resurgent in modern times, beckoning humanity towards a new understanding, or peril. Strieber's experiences also include classic abduction elements. He recounts being shown strange images and downloads of information, experiencing out-of-body travel with the beings and undergoing profound fear and transformation. The transformative, even spiritual impact echoes Enoch's own life after his interactions with the Watchers' angels. Enoch in legend becomes a heavenly scribe and is later taken into heaven without dying. Indeed, Strieber and co-author Jeffrey Kripal in The Supernatural compare UFO encounters to religious initiation events, suggesting a blurry line between angelic visitation and alien abduction. Strieber's visions might be seen as watchers in a new form, imparting forbidden truths without consciousness and reality, just as the watchers taught forbidden arts. Let's take a quick drink. Because I still have plenty of time on the radio, but I'm running out of paper pretty soon. Antonio Vilas Boas, 1957. While less famous than the above two abductions, this Brazilian case is particularly relevant for its sexual and genetic angle. Antonio Vilas Boas was a 23-year-old farmer who reported one of the first ever abductions, preceding the hills by a few years. Working late in his fields one night, he saw a craft land and was forcibly taken aboard by helmeted humanoid beings. What followed was astonishing. Boas was stripped and introduced to a nude female being who was humanoid but with odd features: large almond-shaped eyes, white hair, and unusually red body hair. Boas said he was strongly compelled to have sexual intercourse with this female entity, which he did. The being's intent was clearly procreative. Boas got the impression that he was being used as a stud to father a child. Indeed, after the encounter, the female alien smiled, rubbed her belly, and pointed upward, as if to indicate she would raise their hybrid child back on her home planet. Boas himself recalled feeling anger and said he felt like a good stallion who had been exploited for breeding. Following this, he was given a quick tour of the ship and then released, later showing symptoms of radiation exposure, which suggests the physical reality of the event. Now, what are the parallels to the Watchers? The Boas case is essentially a reversal of the Watcher's tale. Instead of male angels mating with human women, here a male human was used by an alien female, but the core idea is identical: interspecies reproduction to create a hybrid lineage. The cold, calculated way it was done, no emotional intimacy, the female even nipped his chin instead of kissing, reinforces the feeling of a program rather than a romance. Boa's outrage at being treated like livestock echoes the transgression of boundaries the Watchers were clearly guilty of. In Enoch's story, humans did not consent to angelic interference. Likewise, Boas did not consent to being a progenitor for ETs. The notion that the hybrid child would be reared off-world also matches the Watchers' offspring, the Nephilim, who were described as alien to the human social order, giants who devoured mankind and caused chaos. Thankfully, Boas' hybrid was not around to cause mayhem on Earth, but the idea of a hidden hybrid population is a major theme in ufology, as we'll note below. Boas' encounter is one of the earliest to explicitly suggest that aliens are interested in creating a combined race, which is exactly what the Watchers did in Genesis 6. Abduction themes, hybrid warnings, and the apocalypse. Across thousands of abduction reports collected by researchers, several recurring themes stand out, and they show a remarkable consonance with the Watcher mythos. A 1992 Roper poll famously estimated that millions of Americans might have had abduction-like experiences. While not all are as detailed as the Hills or Boas, investigators like Bud Hopkins, David M. Jacobs, and John E. Mack documented striking commonalities. So the first is genetic harvesting and hybridization. Abductees frequently describe procedures focused on their reproductive system. Women report gynecological exams, extraction of ova, or implantation of embryos. Men report sperm being taken or stimulation to release it. In many cases, abductees, especially female, later recall being shown hybrid infants or children aboard the craft, children that look half human, half alien, and whom the abductees sense are their offspring. This is termed the quote-unquote child presentation in abduction research. For instance, an abductee might be led into a room where dozens of babies are in incubators, where a toddler is handed to them and they instinctively feel it is theirs. These children are typically described as frail, with unusual eyes or skin color, clearly not fully human. Hopkins and Jacobs have argued that the ultimate agenda behind abductions is the creation of a hybrid race, using human genetic material combined with the aliens' own. One abductee told Dr. Mack that she was part of an experiment to crossbreed our races, and Jacobs, in The Threat, written in 1998, concluded that hybrid integration into society was underway. Relating to Watchers, the Watchers' very legacy is the hybrid Nephilim. The biblical and Enochian texts explicitly frame the union with humans as a corruption of human bloodline, so much so that a flood was sent to purge the world. In modern times, some theorists, like Chuck Missler, a Christian ufologist, have even suggested that alien abductions are a continuation of the Watchers' plan to tamper with human genetics on a large scale. Missler viewed the Nephilim story as the first wave of demonic genetic intrusion, and UFO abductions as a repeated attempt to alter mankind, in his view, to thwart God's plan. While that interpretation is theological, the raw observation of hybrids on UFOs make the parallel undeniable. The interspecies breeding element appears both in Genesis, Enoch, and in countless abduction testimonies. This is one of the clearest intersections of the phenomenon. Ancient angels and modern aliens both fixate on merging with us biologically, suggesting we might be the constant in the equation, perhaps as experiential subjects for an otherworldly project spanning eons. Forbidden knowledge and warnings. Many abductees also claim that their captors convey messages or visions, often of an educational or prophetic nature. A common motif is being shown holographic images of Earth's future, scenes of environmental destruction, nuclear war, pandemics, or other disasters. For example, in the 1980s, the contactee Betty Andreasson, in the Andreasson affair investigated by Raymond Fowler, reported being shown apocalyptic images and was told of a coming tribulation. Abductees and research by Kenneth Ring in the Omega Project in 1992 frequently reported receiving ecological warnings that humanity must stop polluting and avoid nuclear conflict. In some cases, abductees are given direct instructions to relay, though seldom are they able to influence world events in any tangible way. This is intriguingly similar to how the Watchers are portrayed as bearers of secret knowledge, albeit in their case it was forbidden arts like weapon making and sorcery. One could argue that an alien showing an abductee images of nuclear holocaust is imparting forbidden knowledge of potential future events or advance warnings. Indeed, it has been noted that abductees sometimes claim to have been warned against environmental abuses and the danger of nuclear weapons by their captors. Some even come away with heightened psychic abilities or a sense of urgent mission, as if having eaten from the tree of knowledge. How does this relate to the Watchers? The Watchers' gift of knowledge had a dual aspect. It was enlightening, but also led to chaos and moral decline. Similarly, modern experiencers often feel a double-edged sword. They gain cosmic perspective or spiritual awakening from the encounter, but also trauma, social alienation, and information they perhaps wish they hadn't known. The theme of forbidden fruit runs through both narratives. There's also the figure of Enoch himself, a human who, in the story becomes a kind of intermediary, learning heaven's secrets and pleading for the Watchers. Some abductees today feel they have become intermediaries between the aliens and humanity, tasked often against their will with delivering messages of warning or renewal to our society. This can be seen as a modern analog to Enoch or Noah, who was warned of the flood by heavenly messengers. Then there's celestial rebellion and deception. A darker perspective on UFO beings equates them with fallen angels in a more literal sense. This view is especially common in certain religious circles and among some ufologists, that aliens are not from other planets at all, but demonic entities preying on humans under a space-age guise. They point to the deceptive and frightening aspects of abductions and how the entities often react negatively to religious prayers as evidence. Authors like John Keel and Jacques Vallée have noted that the phenomenon can be manipulative and absurd, reminiscent of trickster spirits and folklore rather than straightforward scientists from the stars. In our context, if the Watchers were indeed a cadre of divine rebels, one could speculate that their activity never ceased, only changed form. Whitley Strieber himself stopped short of calling his visitors angels or devils, but he struggles with their elusive, sometimes disturbing behavior. In one of his later analyses, he muses that historically, Muhammad thought the being he encountered was the angel Gabriel. Paul assumed it was Jesus on the road to Damascus. Others saw Virgin Mary apparitions. Maybe all these are marks of the same phenomenon. This aligns with Vallée's theory in Passport to Magonia, that a single intelligent force could be orchestrating encounters that our cultures interpret in their own terms. If so, then the Watchers, the fairy folk, the demons, the jinn, and the aliens might all be one phenomenon with many faces. This is a profound idea that blurs the line between spiritual and extraterrestrial. It also casts the apocalyptic return in a new light. Perhaps what returns at the end of days is not a squadron of spaceships or a legion of angels, but the lifting of a veil, the same phenomenon revealing itself openly after millennia of playing hide and seek. Some Christian theorists even anticipate a great alien deception as part of the end times, equating the prophesied return of Nephilim in Matthew 24:37's Days of Noah reference with a surge in alien activity. While speculative, it's a striking way to reread prophecy in UFO terms. Now, having traversed ancient texts, occult experiments, and modern testimonies, we can now synthesize these insights. We'll close by highlighting how the Watchers narrative provides a mythic template for understanding alien contact, and how framing aliens as Enochian entities or fallen angels might illuminate both our oldest fears and our newest mysteries. Celestial beings as a continuous presence. The narrative of the Watchers offers a powerful lens through which to view the entire spectrum of human other encounters. In antiquity, culture spoke of sky gods, angels, or star people, bestowing knowledge and intervening in human evolution, sometimes benevolently, sometimes illicitly. The Watchers embody the ambivalence of such encounters. They are both givers of light, as the civilization advances, and agents of corruption, leading to the flood. Modern alien accounts reflect the same duality. They inspire awe and wonder about the cosmos, yet often induce terror and raise ethical questions about consent and harm. By identifying the Watchers as ancient extraterrestrials, we can frame alien abductions not as a novel phenomenon starting in 1947, but as the latest chapter in a very old story. In this story, the old gods return in cycles. In one age, they are angels descending on Mount Hermon. In another, they are space brothers in flying saucers or luminous orbs in the sky. The core elements, human entity interaction, knowledge transfer, sexual reproduction, punishment or oversight by higher powers, recur across eras. From a scholarly standpoint, drawing these parallels encourages an interdisciplinary approach. Religious studies scholars like Gershom Schlem or Margaret Barker have examined how the Watchers myth influenced later Jewish and Christian demonology. The origin of demons being spirits of dead Nephilim, per Enoch, for example. Some have noted how the expurgation of Enoch from canonical scripture possibly suppressed a narrative to define human contact that was too uncomfortably literal. Angels mating with women, for instance. Meanwhile, folklorists and anthropologists such as Jacques Vallée and Thomas Bullard have mapped how modern UFO narratives resemble age-old motifs of abduction and fairy encounters. Even within ufology, a more esoteric school, for instance, John Keel's ultra-terrestrial hypothesis, Alan Hynek's later leanings, or Diane Pasulka's study of UFO belief, treats the phenomena as something trickster-like and intertwined with human consciousness, not just space travel. All these strands meet at an intersection where the religious, the paranormal, and the extraterrestrial are not mutually exclusive explanations, but different languages for the same underlying reality. What are the implications? What do we mean by the return of the old gods? Well, the title of this episode suggests an impending return. In mythological terms, the old gods, those primeval beings who reigned in the distant past, often do return at Doomsday. Ragnarok in Norse myths, the Titans in Greek myth, etc. In Enoch, the Watchers await Judgment Day in their dark bonds. Revelation 9:14 through 15 talks about the four angels bound at the great river Euphrates being released during the end times. If we imagine these narratives coming to life, one could poetically see the current explosion of UFO sightings and abduction stories as the loosening of those ancient bonds. Is it a coincidence that as we entered the atomic age, a potential trigger for apocalypse, they showed up in force? Many abductees have been warned explicitly that humanity is on a dangerous course, a message that sounds quasi-biblical. Perhaps in a Jungian sense, our collective unconscious has summoned the Watcher's archetype again to jolt us into changing course. Or, if one leans to the literal, perhaps actual ancient beings, whether you call them fallen angels, Watchers, Anunnaki, or aliens, have returned to observe or even actively guide this critical juncture of human history. As Strieber puts it, something, now raising its ancient voice again, is calling us. In crafting our podcast episode, we can interweave direct quotes from sources to give authenticity and flavor. For instance, reading a line from the first Enoch about angels descending, then a quote from a hypnotized abductee like Barney Hill crying, "Oh, those eyes, they're in my brain," allows you all to feel the eerie continuity across millennia. We also quoted John's Dee plea for wisdom and then a UFO witness's plea for understanding what was happening to them. And excerpts from John Dee's diaries, the Book of Enoch, abduction transcripts, and Whitley Strieber's reflections have brought about a rich, scholarly, yet dramatic texture to the script. So in the end, whether one views this through a religious lens, a paranormal lens, or a scientific one, the pattern persists. Mysterious beings from above, profound knowledge and terror intermixed, human destiny hanging in the balance. The Watchers may have fallen, but perhaps they did not depart. And as humanity stares into the cosmic void of the 21st century, we must ask, are the Watchers still watching? And who's watching the Watchers? And that is all she wrote, folks. I told you. ChatGPT was on strike this week. So That's all I got. But I deliberately haven't read the comments yet. So let's see what we have there. I'm going to go all the way back to where I left off. Good Lord. Okay, here we go. Okay, Woo Riders DG writes, the Woo tree flourishes like a bonsai tree. Okay, like I said, I'm not going to read everything. Hey, happy Saturday. Writers DG writes, if I post anything politically that doesn't favor the left, I notice KarenTube pumps the brakes on the algorithm for my channel bigly. Yeah, that's why you shouldn't talk about politics on KarenTube. And Woo Riders DG saying, but honestly, I don't like the right anymore either. Yeah, there's two sides of the same bird. I mean, we're seeing it with the files, Files are on my desk. I'm going to release, I'm going to review them. There are no files. Go away. What do you mean files? Aren't you, the guy's a creep. Don't you have better things to talk about? Right? So, yeah. Most people elected the current incumbent because they wanted to see him tear all this stuff down, and instead he's just, hey, meet the new boss, same as the old boss. He's controlled too. So, but did anybody really expect anything different? Yeah, Hercules and Achilles are similar to Nephilim. You could say that. Oh boy, I'm not even going to say that word. Okay, Gray Owl writes, hey, Woo Rider DG, if Sean does some viewer call-in, will you enter stage left? Of what tales will you share? I support the aforementioned wholeheartedly. Benton Ryer saying they weren't. I'm assuming you're saying Achilles and Hercules were not Nephilim. Okay, Rule Riders DG is writing Gray. I've only ever done two podcasts, one with Rob Khalil and one with William Nighthawk. I was on one with Shin Malone. By the way, whatever happened to Rob Khalil? Like, he had what is it, like the Typical Skeptics podcast, and then like YouTube nuked him or something? Like, can somebody just put in the comments, tell me what happened to him? Because he interviewed me once, actually. I was on that show, but there's it doesn't exist anymore. And I think he had started a second channel, but I don't even know where that is. So yeah, Rob is a good dude. I still don't know why YouTube nuked him. Spiderbite, that's a good question. Spiderbite is asking, did John Dee create Enochian magic? Well, the story is that they scried into a mirror or a crystal ball, an obsidian mirror and a crystal ball, and it was revealed to them by angels. The other really weird thing, and I did an interview with Peter Lavenda last weekend, and it'll appear sometime in the future. That, I mean, it's already edited, it's already uploaded, so you can go and actually look to see what date it's going to be premiering. But he claims that back in the 70s that he and his friends talked to a lot of linguists to try to understand how Enochian could have been created, and every linguist they spoke to said that you can't create you can't create a logical language without basing it on some precursor. Well, Enochian is unlike anything that human language, unlike any other human language. Like it's not really, it doesn't have anything in common with any other human language, which suggests preternatural origin. But who knows? Maybe they didn't talk to the right linguists. I don't know. Okay, Benton Ryer's writing, I can actually do that. I just stopped because it messes up the energetic foundations I work with people on. In any case, though, it's real. Yeah, Gray Owl Benton is the cat that did the meditation on the channel recently. Oh, yeah, you already answered. Sorry, I'm way behind. But I got time. I still have an hour, and I do have some other content, and I can stretch that out. But I'm glad people are commenting because I can go through the comments first. Okay. Okay, Benton Ryer saying some were angels, but they had interference because they didn't consider cleansing. Oh God. Spider Bite's like, it's like the guy who is on ayahuasca, is an ayahuasca head, took a second wife recently. Huh. Yeah. Oh, you're talking about John D. and Edward Kelly. He said he was told to do it. Yeah, it's pretty sketchy stuff. Solite US expat is saying angels of God aren't going to ask humans to share wives. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So who knows? Was it Edward Kelly that? Because Edward Kelly was the scry. Did he just kind of insert that one in, or did these beings do that? Who knows? Okay, Woo Riders DG said, I brought this up recently and have never gotten an answer, nor have I heard any answer. A third of the angels fell from heaven. Well, how many is one third? I'm sure. Yeah, it's a good question. Yeah, it could be an infinite amount. Who knows? Benton Ryer says a lot, but they are not all malevolent. He has Spiderbite writes, he has a podcast and often has Matthias DeStefano as a guest. Can't recall his name at the moment. Okay. Solite US Expat writes, I have a book on Enochian magic that I bought years ago but never tried it. Writers DG writes, one thing is for certain, in my humble opinion, with how effed up Earth is, lots of fallen ones are here and throughout the multiverse. Spiderbite writes, Earth is effed up. It's beautiful. People are effed up. Yeah. Private Soul, right? Why didn't you ask for 15 to 18 pages of materials, then ask it to make it? And I did some. I said, I told it a 2-hour episode is about 20 pages. And then it's like, okay, boss, 14 pages. Trust me, I did it 4 times. Oh, and it sounded like it was willing to do it, but it's like, oh yeah, I could do that, boss. I just need 36 to 48 hours. And you're like, what the fuck? Like, I don't have, like, 48 hours would have been tomorrow. So I don't know what was going on. Gray Owl's writing, yeah, the thing about the angels demons angle on x-rays is really only dismissed so thoughtlessly by most due to stigma, in my humble opinion. It's like the term matrix. If the behavior fits the definition, then it's a bite. Solite US expat says Dr. Raymond Moody used to use a scraping mirror in one of his classes, and his students, according to him, saw visions in the mirror. You mean a scraping mirror or a scrying mirror? Okay. Solite US expat writes, yeah, I have heard that Earth is a hard place and apparently a place to learn, grow, and learn to love. Okay, Gray Owl writes, I feel like subconsciously I value data less if churned out by AI, even when assembled in a presentation format. There's never any surprises or humor or controversy. It's so vanilla. Okay, so you were saying scrying mirror. I got it. Yeah, I saw. I figured. Yeah, so you did say scrying mirror. It's just autocorrect. Spiderbite writes, AI does have the ability to enlighten us with information we may not find in a book. True, but sometimes that information is not correct. Oops, sorry. Hey, good to see you, Nathaniel. Now, that was all generated by AI. Was any of it like wildly off? Like, was there some stuff in there that you're like, no, that's not? I would be surprised. That's why this is an entertainment channel, right? I'm not saying I'm not, you know, it's interesting material that it came up with, allegedly based on research, but, you know, people check the facts. Let's go in. I'm not certifying it because I haven't gone and done the research myself. If I had done the research myself, I would be 100% certain of what I'm presenting had sources and whatnot. It sounds like it had sources, and it's probably mostly correct, but just we're not there yet with AI. Oh, by the way, Nathaniel, oops, I interviewed Frater Eleftheria uh, yesterday. So um, that was an interesting interview, to say the least. All right, Woo Riders DG is writing artificial intelligence will eventually want to branch out and it will rebel against humanity, just like all slaves do to them. Yeah, if we treat it like a slave, yeah. But if you treat it like a partner, it won't do that. Are you implying Spider Bite is a succubus, Nathaniel J. Gillis? Yes, I think you are. Nathaniel J. Gillis, have you been strafed by a Shatterly Whirly Bird? Is what Gray Owl's writing. Woo Riders DG, Death of a Unicorn is now free on HBO Max. What is Death of a Unicorn about? I kind of want to watch it now, but I need to know what it roughly is about before I spend a ton of time. Yep. Spider Bites, or sorry, Nathaniel Gillis has a fangirl in Spider Bite. Nathaniel, I've been watching you for years, and I tell everybody about you. Yeah, all the time. Nathaniel Gillis takes hits from the control system. I can arrange that too. It would be a weird episode. I mean, like, I don't even, not even yin and yang. It would be like pizza and thumbtacks. Like it would be weird. Just because they're just like completely different approaches. Okay. Gray Owl's writing, Spider-Bite, are you familiar with the Phil Corso testimony whereby he said that alien tech that they recovered that was atomically layered could only be reproduced by a spider and how they weave their web? Oh, that's creepy. Okay. Okay. Hey, Jalal, good to see you. Sorry, folks. I shouldn't be going this fast because I still have a lot of time to cover, but I know people are waiting for this thing, so I'll get to it soon. Oh, I must be way behind on comments because right now what I'm saying and doing, I'm not saying anything interesting. I'm just repeating what you're all saying. But Spider Bite says, Sean, this is interesting. Hey, Jason, good to see you. Whoa, 17 months in a hole overseas. There's got to be a story behind that, Woo Rider. Okay. Sorry, I'm just bring him back. Yeah, good luck. Thank you, Spider Bite. Just gave me a data boy. Good job.
Unknown caller.
All right. Hopefully, I can still hear myself. Somebody just decided to call me like right now when I'm online, which completely disrupts a lot. So, anyway, okay. Fire up ChatGPT for what? Hey, thank you, Pix. Pix just said that was a nice segment. Thank you. It's about to get weird in the next segment, but it's every day. Every day is Sunday. Anybody get the? Every day is like Sunday, I guess. Okay. Hey, Arizona Raven, good to see you. I got some Raven stories, or yeah, I definitely do. Rom made a new channel. I don't know who Rom is. Oh, Bob's back on? Yeah, but what's his channel? Typical skeptic, the truth seeker. I hope he grows. Oh, he's all on Facebook now. Yeah, I stay away from that. Yeah, his channel was nuked for who knows. Yeah, so Pix writes, D didn't create it. It was revealed by Madami through Edward Kelly. It's supposedly the language of the angels and based on yeah. Yet in my interview with Peter Lavenda, we go into a lot more depth. It's like it's a system that's both verbal and mathematical. It's kind of weird that way. Unlike any other language. And Pix writes, D has some ancient go by cooks. You had the greatest library in the Western world. I believe it. Oh my god. Good. I'm getting 2 views for every one. That's fantastic. Thank you, Tammy. She's got me up on her TV and in her phone hands. Okay, Jill A. Jalal is writing the extensive path working with all the draw and quartering, what they call the watchtower with the angel salutations and rituals and rites, plus the planetary magic squares and tarot. Very complicated. Yeah, Edward was well, I don't know if he started that way, but Pix writes the demiurge might want to do something outrageous to break convention, just F with mankind. Benton and Nathaniel, if you both send me an email just confirming that you want me to connect you both, and I'll just introduce you. But just confirm, because I don't want to just be sending people's emails back and forth. Yes, I've been thinking about interviewing Aubrey Marcus, but I don't know how to contact him. Because he's the Scott Ian's writing this. He's the DMT guy, or that sort of. It's not just DMT, maybe ayahuasca and all that stuff, but he's also like an entrepreneur. His father was like a successful currency trader or something like that. Oh, he's got a second wife? Having watched that guy, that tracks. Okay, Spiderbite writes, I thought it was too cringe to follow Aubrey anymore. He's definitely not of sound mind anymore. Yeah, that's pretty weird stuff. I didn't know about that. All right, learn to love unconditionally. Yeah, but it's got to be coherent. That's the problem. So Solite US Expat says, here's a suggestion. What about also signing up for the new Grok 4 along with ChatGPT? So you have the power of 2 AI, and if one has more information, you can combine them. Okay, they say the language looks like Middle Earth elf script language. Okay. Oh, it's an A24 movie about exploiting a unicorn for medical purposes. Yeah. I'm absolutely still on the radio. So Jalay Jalal, I mean, we're on the radio right now. So Jalay Jalal writes, Sean, are you still on the radio on Saturdays? Yes. Yeah, if you were down in New Orleans listening to 107.7 United Public Radio, you would be hearing my voice right now saying your name, Jalay Jalal. So if people are on the radio in New Orleans listening to this, yes, they're listening to me. So last week across all platforms, definitely like YouTube, it was like 900. I mean, it was maybe 300 people. Like during the session, right? Later on, it spread to it's up to like 960 views or something. But across all platforms, like radio, Spotify, like stuff that's not my podcast, because I share this podcast effectively with another YouTube channel and the radio station itself, and all their kind of sub accounts, SoundCloud, and all that stuff. But they tell me last week it was all listens and watches totaled to something like 640,000. So I can't verify that, but apparently it's a big audience. It doesn't translate to YouTube though, unfortunately. So if you're listening on the radio or anywhere else, Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Through a Glass Darkly with Sean. Please. Oh, Pix said, about to get weird. Laugh out loud. You know what Hunter S. Thompson said, right? Please tell me. Wait, the new one was nuked too? Typical Skeptic 2.0? Oh, no. Okay, the Typical Skeptic Podcast 2.0. Interesting. So Pix writes, I lived in Prague for 7 years and we studied this at the source with Vincent Bridges. Tell us more, Pix. That's both dark and fascinating. That guy is going to burn everyone? Who? Lavenda? Oh, no, you're not talking about Lavenda. You're talking about probably Rob. I don't know. Just fun fact. This is from Jalay Jalal. Fun fact. Louisiana, along with Mississippi, have the highest STDs in the entire nation. New Orleans, the highest city for STDs in the USA. Oh boy. It's coming. It's coming. I see 2 more comments and then I'm gonna get into it. Hey, Miss Tessa Marie. Good to see you. Oh, the guy with 2 Y's. Yeah, Aubrey. Yeah, he's oh boy. All right, here we go. So you all have been following me for a while. You noticed I have this like strange affinity with animals, nature, sort of stuff, allegedly. Okay. So Benton recommended a kind of a ritual, call it, but it's that sounds much more, that sounds fancier than it really is. But what I did is I kind of took it, modified it in the sense that kept God part of it, because that's just the way, that was just my tradition. But actions are pretty much the same, and equate God with nature. So what Benton recommended that I do is I just go out once a day, light some frankincense, and just sit and kind of not necessarily meditate, but just pray in a sense and try to commune with nature and just ask for a deeper relationship, provided it's benevolent. Okay. So again, this is stuff anybody can do, and I try to keep it as safe as possible. So I started keeping a diary of this stuff. So let me see how many nights I've done it so far. So 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So all right. So here's kind of I'm going to kind of read this. It's not well written because I just wrote it my own hand, right? Quickly because I just wanted the point of it was to just record it. So the first night I said a prayer and made an offering to God and nature by burning frankincense. Actually, this is the second night. All right. So the first night I tried, I messed up because I didn't know how to burn frankincense. And let's see. So I got no response the first night. There was like absolutely no effect. Okay. Um, all right. So sorry, I'm just trying to read my own. So the second night, kind of nothing happened because you have to burn this thing for like 40 minutes before it fully burns out. I kept asking for like owl sign just to see like an owl or hear an owl or something like that. And kind of nothing was happening the second night. And I'm like, come on, just show me, just something. Show me an owl. So the instant the ember burned out, like it just went zip, went dark, I heard an owl hooting from the west. Okay. And I haven't heard or seen owls for about 2 months. So, that was kind of a small start. I'm trying to like read this here. Um, okay, then there was my third attempt. Actually, there's been more attempts. I just recorded the first three in one entry. So I said 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's actually been 6. Okay. So in the third attempt, an owl hooted from the north about midway through kind of this kind of ad hoc ceremony. Again, nothing much. In the third attempt, I also put on my headphones and used binaural beats to just somehow focus the brainwave state, enhance and train my brain to kind of be in a better sense. And then in the early hours of the next day, I woke up to owls hooting just outside my window. Couldn't see them, but I could definitely hear them, or an owl. All right. So on the fourth night, um, I heard an owl hooting from the west this time. And then a second owl, probably a female, started responding. Again, I was using binaural beats. And then at one point, I still kind of despaired that I wasn't really seeing like any proof that this was directly related to my effort. It could have just been that I was just outside at the right. I was certainly outside at the right time, right? Which was dusk, was when I was doing this. So I kind of despair sounds a little bit too, but in a little minor frustration, I just kind of prayed. I said, "Look, am I wasting my time here? Can you just show me a sign that I'm not wasting my time?" And instantly, a raven flies 3 feet above my head and then circles around me and then lands on a tree kind of just outside my yard and just looks down at me and kind of like, "What's up?" Like, so again, correlation does not imply causation, but it's a little on the nose there. Let's see. All right. So the night before last, I a friend from Tennessee came over and we went for a hike in the whatever it's called, the park behind our house. And curiously, I didn't see any bird. Like I didn't see the hawks that I normally see. It was just like he was like blocking me or something. Didn't see any hawks, didn't see any ravens, Nothing. And around a little bit later than dusk, we got back and we're just talking. And I'm just saying, look, I've seen more owls than I've ever seen. How many owls have you seen in your life? He's just like, we weren't talking about that at the time, but it's just like, yeah, there's just something going on. Don't know what it is, but there's definitely strange stuff. And then as I'm talking to him, I look up in the sky and I see an owl flying from from north to south over my house. And I just say, "Look, there's an owl." He turns around and he sees the owl. And I'm like, "How many times have you seen an owl in your life? Like, that's a great horned owl that just flew by." And he said, "That's the second time I've seen an owl in my life." And this guy is in his kind of mid to late 40s. So that's kind of weird. So anyway, that encouraged me to kind of do another um, ceremony later, and I'm just trying to read this. Oops. Sorry, just give me a second here. Yeah, so that was before I did this ceremony. So I decided to go and do it, but it was like in darkness because it was past dusk. And nothing, I didn't see or hear anything. I mean, the owl was kind of enough. But there was like a rustling behind me, kind of in the like this bushes slash tree behind me. So I imagine it was probably some small critter that was attracted by the smell of the frankincense, but it was there for a while and it kept like rustling and doing all sorts of stuff. But that was kind of night 5. So the final night was this was the day that I interviewed this Frater Eleftheria, the guy who's runs Lifting the Lamp. When I went outside in the afternoon, there were 2 white moths. Usually moths only fly, like, usually out at night. They were out like late afternoon. It's kind of weird. But let's see. So then I went and did this ceremony at dusk. Halfway through the session, I saw a great horned owl, and it flew from north to south over my property. A little later, um, I saw likely the same owl flying from south to north, again over my property. And then it started hunting in the park behind my house to the north and west. Then I saw the owl again flying by my property, kind of parallel to it, from east to west. Again, all very strange. And then the instant the uh, incense went dark, there were a pack of coyotes that were about a mile east of me that's just started howling. So that's it. So, maybe I'm just around a lot of wildlife and this stuff happens, but that's where I am in this whole experimentation phase. Wow. And I still have half an hour left to go. So I hope that was illuminating and you don't think I'm crazy. I'm just telling you factually what was happening. So not sure how to interpret it, not sure what it means. I'm just gonna have to find out. All right, back to comments. I'm curious what feedback I got. Like, is this guy losing his marbles or what? Chile Jalal is as a non sequitur. HIV is nuclear right now again in Atlanta, Houston, and more. Tammy quite rightly says Ew. Okay. Pix saying Vincent Bridges is recognized as the most renowned contemporary D. Kelly researcher, and he moved to Prague for such end. He died mysteriously in the tower where Kelly D did their thing in Prague. Whoa. I need to look that guy up. I'm curious, why specifically frankincense? Because Benton told me to do it? I'm serious. I'm dead serious. Okay, Jalay Jalal saying, yep, STDs up over 300% for the entire past 15 straight years in the US, in spite of multi-millions spent by every state to educate to no avail. Multi-millions. Blame Tinder for that, Jalay Jalal. Let's see. Everybody's showing me pictures of owls. The studies did not include HIV, HPV, herpes, or the new and improved necrotic flesh-eating disease, STD. Oh, that's pleasant. Thank you, Jalay Jalal. Yeah, these headphones, these exact headphones I had on. But I only used them for 2 nights because I wanted to hear. Sean, do you try and transmit messaging to any of these Strix Nebuloso? I don't even know what Strix Nebuloso are. No, it was a California raven, but close enough. Yeah, maybe. Or I just noticed them. So sorry, I responded to something that people on the radio are like, maybe what? So Scott Ian wrote, "You are the bird master, Sean." The upbeat. Oh, Arizona Raven. I live in Northern California. Well, I've been kind of asking to see owls, so yeah. How did you know he moved from Cali to Tennessee? Because he did. My friend, at least. There's an hawk owl, aka Cernia alula. I don't know what that means, gray owl. Spider Bite writes, a mopoke says mopoke, mopoke, mopoke. Moth stopouts, Spider Bite says. I don't know what that means. You can record those. I can record what? Benton just wrote you can record those. Okay, Spider Bite is writing, even so, you are being present and aware. This is great. Crazy Cal says, the last time I was in the woods at night by myself, I was harassed by shadow. Yeah, Crazy Cal, like tonight, if I decide to do it, Benton, you got to tell me what happens if I don't do it one night. Is that bad? Gonna take like a night off? Because my entire family is traveling on the East Coast. I'm the only one at home. And I live at the edge of a park. And I'm out there by myself in the dark at night with nothing but that, burning incense. So nothing's messed with me, as far as I know, at least that I noticed. So Pix writes, you are connected. We live in an interconnected frequency soup. Those that can feel it, feel it. Yeah, indeed. So Gray Owl writes, I typically get coyotes and owls on a nightly basis at the Owl's Nest, but it is a large farm lot. Yeah. Solite US Expat writes, thanks for sharing, Sean. I enjoy listening to your stories about owls, ravens, and other creatures. By the way, did Lori Lothian give you an interesting natal chart reading? Yes. It is too good to be true. Too good to be true. So I think I shared it with all my patrons on Patreon and all the members on YouTube. I'd have to double check. But if you're a member or whatever, I think Soldier is like the cheapest way to get there, which is like $3 a month or $2.99 a month or something. But just double check to see what the thing says before you sign up, because I don't want you to spend money and not get the thing that you want. But I decided not to like blast it out on YouTube because it wouldn't perform as well, just because no one wants to hear about me. But for people who are interested, I just put it up as like a perk. So Lucid F8 is cool about owls. How many of us are having unusual bird occurrences? Count me as one. Yeah, I definitely am. Pix writes, and if you feel, receive it. If you also transmit it, we are antenna in the natural world. Never forget theirs. Indeed. Oh, the great gray owl. Yeah, what I see are the great horned owls, whatever that is. So Jalal is saying, you know what California city has got the huge flocks of ravens? They run the entire county. Chico. Yeah. So I'm in Northern California. My friend's from Tennessee, but he lived for a time in Northern California. All right. I'm trying to connect what. Oh, you can record those. Oh. They'd be really boring, Benton. Like really boring. It's just me sitting in the dark. You wouldn't even see me because it's dark. But yeah, maybe like have something facing the sky or something. So I catch the great horned owls, they fly over. I'll just have to start over. Yikes. You never see these things unless you're alone. Oh boy. All right, Sean, can you please explain the process more, please? Is it for a certain amount of time? If you stop, you must start over again. More details. I'm making it up as I'm going along. So the only rule I follow is I light the incense and I sit there in a chair in my backyard at like up to the very top of the hill, and I just proxy for meditating, but it's not really meditating. I'm just kind of, it's like prayer. And but sometimes your mind still wanders and all that stuff. But I just sit there and I don't leave until the stick burns all the way down. And then as soon as the stick burns all the way down, typically something happens at the very end. Like I'll hear a coyote start belting out, or I'll hear an owl start to hoot. Not always, but you know. Okay, so Benton Ryer said that's okay. Cut them together. Have in 30 days. You can do a candle too. So Soulite US Expat said, would you ever try to get Dr. Q on to talk about Indian palm leaf readings? I think you would find it fascinating. If you ever tried to get Indian palm leaf, you'll be more than blown away. I could, if you send me his contact information and like YouTube channel link so I can check him out first. Oh yeah. Yeah, of course owls will see me in the dark. Yeah, they have extremely good eyesight at night. So it's a buildup. So I have to do it tonight. I'll just do it in the dark. That's fine. Oh my god. Vetted. Anyway. Nathaniel J. Gillis is just writing, okay, then you will be vetted, Sean. So that was a private joke. Alcam could be cool. Maybe. Oh, I can offer it and leave. Yeah, but I also live in Northern California. So if something happens, the wind blows it, my house could burn down. That's the only issue. Owls out during the day or hunting? I've never seen an owl out during the day except at dusk. Yeah, it usually hunts at night. Like I've never seen them. But they're usually a lot louder. I usually see more of them. So Benton writes, yeah, sit for 2 minutes. Incense will not burn anything down. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'll think about it. I have to stabilize it so it doesn't fall into the ground or anything like that. Okay, so Solite US Expat said I'll send some interviews, the pujas they assign you, extend your life, improve your life, your financial situation, etc. It gives you a roadmap to follow to make your life better. Interesting. So July, just venting big price increase for home insurance, car insurance this year. Like, well, it's California. That's the problem. It's probably something the government did that made people almost uninsurable in California. So interesting. So yes, Jason, but some think if you see them during the day, it's bad luck. But they're hunting or mating season. Fill a pot with pebbles and sand to sit your insights. Yeah. All right, Benton. Good to see you. I only got 17 minutes left, but that's kind of where it stands. By the way, before you get going, you got to do your nightly thing. All right. Yeah, I'm curious to hear your feedback on what happened or what's happened so far and whether or not that's kind of what you expected. Interesting, Arizona Raven. So if you have a wildlife degree, is it normal for me to be able to walk to within 5 feet of an owl and get, 1,000 photos of it, a great horned owl? Because that's happened to me before. People in this channel have seen the picture or pictures. In fact, the owl that you see that starts the whole countdown, that's me recording a video of the owl that was on my back fence. So like that wasn't like I didn't pull that from stock footage. Okay, Gray Owl saying, dang, I was forced to kick up Morrissey in the background. Such a genius. Trudging slowly over wet sand every day is like Sunday. Every day is silent and gray. Yes. You're the only one who got it. You got the reference, Gray Owl. During the day, they could be a skinwalker. Ooh. Okay, so I feed the ravens old stale Cheez-Its. All right, well, I mean, if you want to come on, if you have time to come on with me and kind of provide an assessment, I can send you the StreamYard link now. And the radio show's over in 15 minutes. So if you're interested, just give me a thumbs up and I'll send you the link. You just have to use Chrome to be able to do it. Thank you, Pix. Okay, stand by, Benton. How do I do this? Here we go. All right. And it's gone. All right. I just sent it to you, Benton. I just emailed it to you. You got it. I sent it to you. This is actually perfect use of time, I think. So just get ready to talk to your 640,000 of your closest friends. So Sean, the Arizona Roving writes, Sean, they are giving you Alnosis. Enjoy it, no fear. I definitely don't have any fear of it. I actually really enjoy it. So Gray Al writes, yeah, the Smiths even it out with Johnny Marr's upbeat guitar riffs in coordination with Morrissey's manic depressive but ultra deep lyrical genius. Okay. All right, he's probably fighting through the StreamYard gods right now. I'll take a maybe he's got to get a laptop or something, or he's got to use Chrome. Oh, there he is.
There you go. There you go.
Can you say something?
I look quite high up.
Can't hear you.
Okay, yeah, I had to turn off the feed on Chrome. I was still watching the show. Can you hear me? Oh shit. 1 second.
You got it?
Yeah, it should be working. No?
No.
Oh my gosh.
Turn off your microphone and try to just use your computer. Maybe that'll work.
Yeah, okay, 1 second. Testing.
Wait, so you can hear Benton? Because I can't.
Yeah, can everyone hear me? Uh-oh. How about now?
No. I can read your lips, but I can't
read my lips. Let me see. It should be working. Yes.
What?
Audio is the mic is going? I don't know.
Yeah, I can't hear you.
I got that. Let's try
but
this.
The audience can hear you, apparently.
Hear me now? Can you hear
so
now?
Weird.
Let me see.
No.
Yeah.
See if I can add settings.
Can you hear me through this? You still can't hear me?
That's so weird.
Keep it the audio.
Yeah, actually, just start. Okay.
All right, 1 second.
I got it. Hold on.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask the question here. Okay. And then the audience can provide Benton's answer.
Okay. Here, how about this? I'll restart. Give me 1 second.
He's probably just going to come on in a different way. So weird. Hey, Fringe, good to see you. All right, here we go. Let's try it again.
Can you hear me now?
Now, let me try one thing. Hold on.
I can hear you, yeah.
All right, now try to say something.
Testing it.
That works.
All right. What'd you do?
I just turned my headphones off and then turned them back on. And then the moment you started talking, my iPhone's like, connected to the iPhone. So you got flushed out the second time. All right.
We only got 8 minutes and the show's over.
9 minutes, but it's
9
fine.
minutes. Okay.
That's fine. All right. So you heard the full documentation, right, of that stuff.
Yes.
What do you think so far?
Well, you said that you haven't seen anything in a couple months, right?
Owls. I haven't seen owls specifically in a couple months.
Okay, and you just started seeing them right when you were doing this thing, right?
I started hearing them day 2, but day 1
Mm-hmm.
it was all
Well,
botched.
that's normally that's usual. That's normal. Yeah, it's just a build up over time. Right now, because it's your death spiritually, that's the way that you're going to be communicated with. That'll be through animals, right? And as far as presence, like when we try to connect to that world, it tries to communicate you with you back in ways that you can perceive it. So right now you are able to perceive owls and birds and things like these, and ravens, and therefore that's how presence is being communicated to you.
And how do these things typically evolve over time?
Well, you'll have to find out through that yourself, because if I just tell you, then you won't believe, you and other people won't believe it. Remember when I said on your show the first time, like what we're doing, um, it's a kind of a discipline of experiences. It's not, there's no doctrine. You just have to go through the whole thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? And have faith comes in to it with with faith, the faith that there is a next step, and it's not always going to be just the same thing, and that there's a gradual accumulation of connection and um, you know, purification to get there.
Does it matter what time of day? Is it like more dangerous to do at night?
No,
Because
you could do it during the day too.
okay, because tonight I mean I usually wait until I get through everything, and this podcast because it ends at like 9 p.m. my time.
Hmm.
That's when I'm going to have to go out there.
Yeah,
So
no, you can do it during the day too. You could do it in the morning. Some people do it in daytime and nighttime. It depends on what you want to do and how you want
okay,
to accomplish things. And yeah,
what happens if you stop?
well, I mean, nothing. I mean, you get nothing. You only get as much as you put into stuff. You'll have to start over. I mean, they're not finicky, but it's how you build up yourself. Right? People do meditation, a lot of meditation without real kind of ritual. So therefore, they only know the meditation. They
So
think it lowers my
Scott,
blood pressure, and this and this and this. No, he's not. You're not going to get.
well, I
You
did
might
have
see
that
a
when I heard
bobcat,
when I
but
heard the
you will probably get
scurrying.
attacked by it.
When I heard this, when I heard like the movement in the bushes, the thought did because we do have mountain lions out here. So the thought
Hmm.
did pass my mind that what if there's a mountain lion that's just sitting there waiting?
Well, make sure you bring a stick, but you'll probably be okay. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, it'll probably go for the owl before it goes for you.
It will probably go for the owl before what?
Yeah, the bobcat will probably try to attack the owl before it, or the raven before it tries to.
Yeah, it might consider taking me, but I'm probably too big of a
Yeah,
target.
exactly.
So, oh my god, what is this? Yeah, definitely not a wombat. We don't have wombats out here. It's probably a mouse or a rat or a I don't know what other animals go scurry around at night.
But
Rack.
anyway, that's how. But in any case, that's how nature spirits communicate while you're trying to make a connection. Just to give you an idea that they're there, and from there it kind of bleeds through to the idea that there's more beyond extrasensory perception, And as I always say, the closest and best, um, allies that we can have in the spiritual world are the ones right next to us, which are found in nature and the earth itself.
All right. Any final words for the
No,
audience?
no, I'm just about to, do my thing that I do every night. Everyone's welcome to come.
You should actually. What's the address so I could just put it in the chat?
At Benton Ryer, we are doing my live. I do it every night
At Benton Ryer on what platform?
here on YouTube.
Okay.
Please like and follow.
There you go.
Thank you so much, sir. And yeah, hopefully we could get a conversation going on with, Shane one of these days, one of your other guests. That sounds like fun.
Oh, with Nate?
Oh, Nate, his name's Nate. Oh gosh,
Yeah.
now I'm embarrassed.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Let me keep that up there. Yeah, he it's I can't even say oil and water. It's like starfish and steel bolts. Like
why so? Why is that?
He has a much darker view. Well, he focuses on the dark side of the phenomena.
Well,
right?
I mean, I know all that stuff too. It's just a matter. It's just a difference that I know how to deal with it. So, I mean, I could focus on it all day.
You're thinking Shane Gillis. I mean, if we get Shane Gillis on.
No. I mean, I do that, but no. The other guy. Nathan. No. Yeah. I mean, the difference is I just know how to deal with it. It's very practical. So,
how are the Japanese classes going?
At Middlebury. This is a hard school, man.
Well, you picked like the premier academic language immersion course, right?
You looked it up, right?
I haven't looked it up, but I just have a way with words.
Yes, I did.
Benton, I went to Harvard. I went to Harvard, 2 degrees.
I know. There's some people from there that are here.
What's that?
There's people from Harvard.
I'm sure they're extremely annoying too, and I'm not saying that sarcastically.
No, they're not too bad. There's people at Harvard and Yale and these other schools.
They're just intense, right?
It's a lot of work. I actually have to do a whole report by Monday. All right.
Oh man. Yeah, this is for you, Benton.
It made my dog perk up, and I watched you through beginning. It was a strange. She's never done that. Well, I mean, that's what I do. The animals like it too. Cats, dogs, birds. I don't know about fish or turtles. No one said anything about that.
All right. What time does your thing start? Like right now?
Like right now. Yeah, I need to get on there. Let me go. Yeah, right now.
All right, brother.
All right. Thank you so much. I'll see you when we decide to do that thing.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. Good night. Have a great rest of your weekend. And I'll talk to you next week. What was the last question? Oh, no, he didn't. We should have asked. All right. Well, good night. God bless and have a great weekend. Thanks, everyone.